Welcome and thank you for standing by. All participants are in listen-only mode. Today's webinar is being recorded and the recording will be posted publicly. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. Now I would like to turn the call over to your host, Deb Rivera. Deb, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. I hope everyone is having a great day. My name is Deb Rivera and I will be the host for today's webinar, data.census.gov News and Updates for September of 2022. Today, our presenter will cover updates on the platform data.census.gov that have been implemented since the end of June. These include the modern design refresh, search improvements, fixes to defects, and more. Before we get into our presentation, I'd like to go over some housekeeping items. Today, I am joined by my colleagues, and we will be providing support to our speaker by monitoring the chat to send you helpful links that are related to the webinar and also to answer as many questions as we can. We are encouraging participants to use the question and answer panel in WebEx to submit your questions and look to the chat panel for links and other helpful information that we will be sending throughout. We will also have a live question and answer session towards the end of the webinar. Participants who would like to ask a question are welcome to use the raise hand icon, and that appears next to your name in WebEx, and that will prompt us to open up your line. You'll then be able to unmute yourself and ask your question. Please note that the question and answer session today will focus mainly on the platform, data.census.gov. We will not be able to go in depth to address questions on 2020 census products or data. As always, we are recording the webinar today, and all of the materials for this training will be available through the Census Academy website, and we'll be sure to send out a link for that as well. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, and now I'd like to turn things over to our presenter, Tyson Weister. Thank you, Tyson.
Great, thanks Deb, and thank you all so much for joining the webinar, data.census.gov News and Updates, September edition. My name is Tyson Weister, and I work on the communications team for data.census.gov. What I have planned for today is to highlight, as Deb mentioned, the latest updates that we've made to the platform since the end of June, all the way through the releases in September. We're going to walk through those comprehensively in slide format. And then I handpicked a couple of those updates to show you in a little bit more detail on the live site. And then, of course, time for your questions. Before we get there, though, we did want to shout out and provide a thank you to all of our data users that have given us feedback. We do proactively solicit feedback in a variety of sources from data users on how we can continuously improve data.census.gov. We then analyze, prioritize, and develop solutions to address the feedback and push those updates to the public. So if you've submitted feedback already, thank you. And if you have additional suggestions, we encourage you to contact us and provide that feedback. Based on the comments we received over the last few months, we did publish several updates to data.census.gov. This includes the modern design refresh that was applied at June 30th. That design refresh included a refreshed landing page, redesigned profile pages, and improved design features applied across the site. We're going to talk in greater detail about those in slide format. During the last updates webinar 3 months ago, we did give you a sneak peek at this update on the Canary site, but we're going to comprehensively walk through those updates for you again today in slide format. In addition to the modern design refresh, we've also applied other updates to the site throughout the releases in August and September. So that includes updates for simplified population group filters, improved profile URLs, new map notes, download improvements, and a variety of technical updates that we'll talk about in more detail. I did want to point out here, the items in bold are the examples we're going to show on the live site as well and dig a little bit deeper into. With that background, we'll start with the modern design refresh. This included a refreshed landing page, and when you get to the landing page, you'll notice right off the bat a new updated look and feel compared to what was on the site several months ago. And then right off the bat, you also get new features. So you can see when you get to the site, the single search bar has a new microphone icon. You can click that and use speech to text functionality if you prefer to verbally say your search criteria instead of typing it into the single search bar. That's now an additional option that you have. And just below that, you'll also notice new interactive and clickable text to help get you started with your search. So in the screenshot I'm showing here, it's showing try searching for poverty in Georgia in 2020, just highlighting that a topic like poverty, a geography like Georgia, or a year like 2020 are all good terms to enter into the single search bar. If you scroll below that, we also improved the descriptions of the primary content that we have on data.census.gov and give that in a summarized format with a header, brief description, and an image to go along with that content. We hope this helps new users to the site organize themselves and learn what they can expect to get out of data.census.gov. As you may know already, we have tables, maps, profiles, and microdata. Once you actually go to start using the site, we also implemented some type ahead search suggestion improvements. Primarily, the update that was applied with this release is that when you type a search term in the single search bar, if a profile page is available for that search term, we provide you an indication of that on the right-hand side of the type ahead search suggestion. Here I'm showing that on screen in that orange box, and notice it includes a map. So this just helps break it out from the other type ahead search keyword suggestions to note that there are different searches that take you to different locations. We are going to explore this further when we get to the live demonstration. And once you actually open up the profile page, you'll notice a variety of improvements applied across the profile. Please know that we did not change any of the estimates in the profile in terms of the topics and types of data that you'd be getting remains the same. We just improved the layout, source statements, and added some more interactive features to help you make the most of these profile pages. So I'm going to walk through a few of those changes one by one. First, wanted to point out when you get to the profile page at the very top of the screen, do notice that you'll see here we applied source statements. So these are some of the most popular data from the Census Bureau. We continue to provide those key estimates, but what's new with this release of the Modern Design Refresh is those source statements telling you whether they come from the American Community Survey, Decennial Census, some other data source, as well as which vintage of those surveys and programs the data are being sourced from. Once you scroll down past those highlighted statistics, here's where you'll start to notice the improved layout of the geography profiles. So in the past, you would have been scrolling through a static page that was pretty long. We've broken this out on the left-hand side. You'll be getting your topics and your key statistics, as well as any bar charts. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, at all times, you'll be seeing a map that's going to be interactive to you in a couple of different ways. We're going to show you both of those ways when we get to the live site, but just wanted to point out that key difference on a high level to start you out. In addition, we moved the clickable links to the different sections of the profile to these tabs at the top and added icons for them. So you can continue to use these links in order to navigate to those different sections of the profile. Here you can see we're clicked into the race and ethnicity section in the screenshot I'm showing. And one final update we applied to these profiles is anytime you see a chart, you'll notice there is a new button that says Show Table. When you click this button, it will allow you to access the same data that you see in the chart format, but in a table format. Here we're showing it on the right-hand side of our screen. Again, we're going to take a deeper look at those on the live site. In the meantime, wanted to move away to other components of the Modern Design Refresh. We did apply a number of design features. What I'm showing here in this screenshot, first in the upper left, you can see the dot style indicators. In this example, you can see the filter icon has a circle with the number 2 in it, indicating that we've selected 2 filters. And this is just to be consistent with other types of indicators that you're probably already familiar with on your mobile device. It also makes it easy for you to see and recognize the number of selections you've made. You'll see that's been applied across the site. Another indication that was updated with the refresh is what we call skeleton loading. What this means is that you will see gray boxes that give you some sort of indication that the site is trying to load a line or some other portion of the site within that box. It just helps give you a little bit more of a sense what to expect once the site actually does load. Here in this example, you can see if you look in the middle of my screenshot, you'll see a set of gray boxes, and on the right-hand side, you see a separate set of gray boxes. So it does give us an indication there's two different components of this page that are being loaded. Some boxes are larger, some boxes are smaller, which are probably individual lines of text. Other items that I'm not showing in the screenshot here, but did want to call out, we applied a number of hover effects across the site. This just means as you're hovered over a particular area of the site, there will be an indication that the area you're hovered over is clickable. So you may see something expand, move, or maybe an outline wherever you're on screen. We'll see this on the live site as well. And then also with this modern design refresh, we implemented new fonts and updated design in places across the site. Moving beyond that modern design refresh, we applied a number of other updates to the site. Wanted to walk through those. One of the most biggest ones that we applied in the time period we're covering today are simplified population group filters. What this means is that when you go to the filter panel for population groups, you will see nice clean labels. You will no longer see any 3-digit code in the filter panel itself. So here in the screenshot that I'm showing, notice I have a checkbox selected, and next to it, you simply see the phrase Japanese alone. We applied this update across all population group filters. That includes ancestry, foreign-born country of birth, race, and Hispanic origin filters. Now, the reason we applied these changes was to give you a cleaner look as you're working through the filter panel, and also just to make sure that the filters that you were selecting didn't need to be almost duplicated in the panel. So we were in the process of releasing data across a different set of codes. So if you look at data, for instance, from the American Community Survey data we have on our site, there's 3-digit codes that were applied to Japanese in 2010 through 2019 release, and 4-digit codes applied to population groups in the most recent 2021 release. So all of these efforts that you've seen us make over the past few releases in order to simplify these labels in the filter panel and just give you a clean label really is to solve a problem for you before you even saw it on the site. This update allows you to seamlessly check one of these filters and access the data across all vintages of the American Community Survey or any data that we have on our site without you needing to know the exact code that was used with each particular vintage of data. Also, make sure that you only see one selection for Japanese alone in the filter panel. With that said, we're going to go in a little bit more detail on the site. These do continue to behave the same way that they did in the past, in the sense that there are some population group filters that provide access to what we call iterated tables, and another set of filters that provide data for our standard tables. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Another update we applied is for the geography profiles. You will see the page name included in the URL. So notice here in the screenshot I'm showing New Hampshire is the name of this profile, and we see New Hampshire has been added to the URL with the latest updates. This is done, one, to help you be able to better recognize what these URLs are for, and even more importantly, external search engines be able to better understand and link to some of the premier content on our site. We also applied updated notes for the maps. when you click the Notes section for maps on data.census.gov, you'll still continue to get all of the data and table notes that you got in the past. In addition to that, when you scroll to the bottom, you may also see map notes. These would be notes that are related to the map or boundaries for your area. And with this update, we also provided download improvements. For the Community Resilience Estimates, or CRE data tables, when you download these tables in the zip file format with this latest release, you will now get the margins of error in those data downloads. Those are the columns here that we're seeing with M at the end of the columns. We also wanted to call out some technical updates. Throughout these releases, you will also notice that we provide Safari browser support. This means that you will get a good experience using data.census.gov on Safari. It also means you will no longer get a message that the browser is not supported when accessing our site on those devices in those browsers. And that includes both the desktop and mobile versions of Safari. So really excited about that update. In addition, we also provided improved search software and type ahead search suggestions, and another technical update that allows us to provide access to the microdata access tool on an individual dataset level. As always, we also fix defects with each set of releases. Through the releases that we covered today, we fixed a total of 57 defects. I'm not going to walk through them individually, but I did pull some of the most prevalent ones and put them here on screen for you so you could take a look. If you're interested in diving into more detail, we also encourage you to visit the link at the bottom. That includes access to our development and release notes that walk through all of these release items in great detail. Now that we've covered the content of the release, I did want to take a moment and dive in more detail to two components of the release, one being the geography profiles, the updated URL, and the redesigned layout. And then the second would be the simplified population group filters. So to start, let's look at that redesigned profile page. For this example, I'm going to pull up the geography profile for New Hampshire. Navigating to the live site, we'll go to data.census.gov. And from the landing page, there are multiple ways to get to the profile. I'm going to type New Hampshire into the single search bar. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see New Hampshire profile. That is a new type ahead search suggestion layout where we see it on the right-hand side and with the map. So all you have to do is click that in order to open the profile. First thing I wanted to show you, the name of this profile, New Hampshire, right at the top. And notice at the top of your screen in the address bar for your URL, you will see new_Hampshire. That is new, in addition to the geography ID, which is included to the right of it. Scrolling down, we see the same highlighted statistics that we saw in the previous version of these profiles. We did add source statements, as I mentioned earlier, and also just wanted to point out we did recently update these profiles for available geographies for the 2021 American Community Survey one-year estimates that were released earlier this month. Those updates have been applied to the applicable data values in the profiles. Once you scroll down, you'll notice you still get high-level information, you still get charts, and you still get maps. The difference is the left-hand side of your screen is devoted to those highlight statistics in the chart. The right-hand side of your screen will display a map at all times. Now I want to show you how that map works. First thing, on the top-hand ribbon, there are different categories to click on. And I'm going to go to the very end of this to the race and ethnicity section. So I'm going to click race and ethnicity at the top. This is the equivalent as if we had simply scrolled on the left-hand side through the content of the profile and reached the race and ethnicity section. On the left-hand side, we continue to get information for the number of people broken out across these major race and ethnic groups. It gives us the data for the New Hampshire state overall, as well as that comparison to the United States, and compares it, or is basing this off of the 2020 decennial census counts. On the right-hand side of your screen is where you get this new interactive map. So in some cases, depending on what section you're clicked onto on the left, on the right-hand side of your screen, what you'll see is a map that has colors and data values. So by default, it is mapping out the very first option, American Indian and Alaska Native alone. And there's a drop-down menu. So all we have to do to customize this map is click into that drop-down menu, and then we can choose any of the other data values from the race and ethnicity section that are programmed to this map. So I'm just going to change this to Asian alone. And we can see our map has been updated. What this tells us is the counties in New Hampshire with darker shades of blue have higher Asian alone population. You can also click an individual county on the map. For instance, here I clicked on Hillsborough County, New Hampshire, and we can see the Asian alone population was 16,523. Do notice also as I'm hovering in this map, there's an orange outline. That is an indication of the area I'm being in is clickable and is an example of one of the new hover effects that were applied. So that is one way you will see the map. I'm going to show you another example by clicking at the top where it says education. This will take us to the education section of the profile. On the left-hand side, it is loading that data in real time. And notice that rather than just getting those highlighted statistics here, we also are getting a visualization on the left, so a bar chart or a line chart. Anytime the section of the profile is programmed towards that visualization on the left, your map on the right is going to behave a little bit differently. It will still be accessible to you and interactive, but notice that it's not filled in with data across the different counties. The reason being that the detailed information for this topic is in the form of a bar chart on the left instead of a map. However, you still can use the map on the right-hand side if you'd like to click a geography that's nearby and actually navigate to a different profile for that geography instead of the one you're viewing. For now, I'm going to take a quick look at the left-hand side. We are looking at bachelor's degree or higher data across New Hampshire and the US. When you do get these charts, they will give you a little bit more information about that topic. Here in this example, we're looking at the highest level of educational attainment for the population 25 years and over in New Hampshire. And then on the left-hand side, there's also that new show table button. When we click that, we get the same data that we saw in the chart, but in a table format on the right-hand side of our screen for our convenience. So we hope you enjoy the new layout of the profiles and continue to give us feedback on how we can make them better in the future. Changing gears, I did want to show you here the simplified population group filters. I'm going to walk through an example first, looking at tables for the Japanese alone population, and then we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive and show you the two different kinds of filters, just to hit home that these filters continue to take you to two different types of tables, just as they did in the past before this update was applied to simplify the labels. For now, I'm going to go back to the live site. We're going to click the US Census logo in the upper left to clear us out, start us fresh from the landing page. And I wanted to look at the tables for the Japanese alone population. So what we would do is click the Advanced Search button. On the left-hand side, where it says Find a Filter, we'll click Topics. And you're still going to find these filters in the same place they existed before. Here we'll choose the folder Race and Ethnicity, the folder Asian. Then I'm going to click the folder Detailed Asian Alone. And here we get to the detailed population groups for this particular topic. Notice that there are no 3-digit codes anywhere in this panel, the previous panel, anywhere through these clicks. We're just seeing labels with words and phrases, no codes in the filters. That was what was applied for this particular update. It does make it easier for you to read these labels. Here I'm going to click Japanese alone in order to go ahead and select that as a search option. We'll see in the upper left it's been added as a selected filter. And although your view isn't cluttered with those codes in the filter panel, I did want to point out that in some cases, if it's a code-based filter, you will still see a code added to the URL. In this case, it added the code 022 when you made this checkbox selection. That is meaningful for some users in order to distinguish some of the data that they can get through these different filters. There's other ways you can distinguish the information as well. We're going to talk about in just a moment. For now, I want to go ahead and run the filter. So in the lower right, I'm going to click search, and then I'll click tables at the very top. So the primary reason for updating these filters over the past couple of releases to remove the codes from the title, we wanted to make sure that they worked seamlessly for you across different vintages. So in the background, the most recent data, we're looking at the first table result S0201 from the 2021 ACS one-year estimates. This table does use in the background a different set of codes for the Japanese alone population compared to the 2010 through 2019 vintages, which uses another set of codes. Notice that we did not have to know that information up front. We simply selected the one label on our site in the filter panel for Japanese alone, and it allows us to seamlessly get data for all available information we have on our site for that population group. So that is the primary reason why we removed the codes from the label and programmed that filter to work seamlessly for you. But again, I did want to point out there are still filters that will take you to different sets of tables. Right now, in this case, we see 675 table results. And what we're getting are tables for what we call iterated tables. That means you will see a column in the table for each population group you selected. So notice if I click the second table result, I'm also going to see that label Japanese alone in the column. And if we had selected multiple population groups and the data were available for a combination of population group and geography, we would see multiple columns as we scroll to the right accordingly for each population group. If you're interested in knowing more precisely what I mean when I say iterated tables, you can also click on the left-hand side where it says surveys and use the site itself to tell you what types of tables are available for the search criteria you've already selected. In this case, I've selected the filter Japanese alone. It's given me the two high-level surveys that are compatible with this filter, and I can drill into the options and see, as one example, this filter's compatible with selected population profiles. It's compatible with selected population data profiles and detailed tables, and also compatible with summary files 2 and 4 from the decennial census. I don't say that for you to necessarily memorize that. I just want to point out that you're getting one set of tables with that particular filter. And again, your indication that the filter provides iterated table is the code in the URL, as well as the column in the table. When you're working with other filters, here we're going to see another example of a population group filter. In this example, we'll take a look at the tables for the Asian filter and show you a filter that takes you to standard tables. So here, going back to the live site, I'll click the US Census logo in the upper left. I'm going to click the advanced search and work my way through the panel. Just like before, I'll click on topics, race and ethnicity. I'll click the folder for Asian, and I am always looking for a checkbox as a final selection. Here I'm going to click the option that just says Asian. Notice when I mark that checkbox, I do get the Asian filter in the upper left as I expect. And in this case, rather than a 3-digit code being added to the URL, it is showing actually the word Asian. Anytime you see a word or phrase added to your URL and not a code, that means you're not going to get iterated table, you'll get standard tables. So if you're ever having trouble finding data for a population group do try to check across both types of tables. Here, I'm going to click Search in the lower right and Tables at the top. Other indications on the site that you're getting data for standard tables. Look at your table layout. Notice that you're just getting geographies in the columns. The way that you'll see data for the Asian population across these standard tables typically is going to be either data rows in your table related to this population group. Here we see a row for Asian alone. And if I click the third table result, you will see Asian alone in the table title itself, as well as the universe statement. On the left-hand side, just to show you the types of products specifically, when I say standard tables, you can once again click on surveys, click through these different options and see the types of tables that are compatible with this filter includes comparison and data profiles, detailed tables, as well as decennial census, summary file 1, 2, congressional district summary file. Again, the point isn't to memorize these, it's just to showcase that the filters take you to 2 sets of tables. With that, know that this information is detailed. You don't necessarily have to know all that information up front. I just wanted to give you a tip to help make the most of selecting data and getting information across detailed population groups. We do have a FAQ that goes through this process as well that we've included here for reference, so we encourage you to take advantage of that, as well as the step-by-step slides that are available for this presentation that's recorded. And looking into the future releases, we are working towards additional improvements to our geography profiles, improving the labels in certain areas of the site, as well as continue to improve our search functionality and incorporate data user feedback. In order to stay up to date on the latest updates, we did want to invite you to subscribe to our newsletter if you're not subscribed already. When you visit the link in the upper left, it will take you to our subscription page and you'll see a checkbox for data.census.gov updates. You can check the box and fill out the form in order to get our newsletter. This again will inform you of our latest updates, system enhancements, data releases, and educational opportunities. And if you haven't already, we continue to invite you to submit feedback to us. You can click the feedback link or simply shoot an email to census.data@census.gov. You may also send your data user questions to us, and we can help you get to the data you want and need. And with that, I'll go ahead and transition over to Deb. We look forward to queuing up for your questions shortly.
Thank you so much, Tyson. All right. So in just a few moments, we will begin our question and answer session. Today, we will be taking your questions over the WebEx audio. You can use the raise hand icon, which is located next to your name and also at the very bottom center of your WebEx screen. And that will prompt us to open up your line. You'll then be able to unmute yourself to ask your question. But first, I would actually like to take a moment and invite you all to share your thoughts about today's webinar through an evaluation survey. Your feedback helps us design future training sessions and also lets us know how we can improve our webinars. The link to the evaluation is in the chat box right now, and I've included some helpful information that will help you fill out that survey for us. So please take a moment to fill it out, perhaps while we go through the question and answer session. That said, if you do have any questions remaining after the question and answer session, please feel free to reach out to one of the 2 email inboxes listed here. If you are a member of the public, please reach out to the Center for Enterprise Dissemination at census.data@census.gov. And members of the media can contact the Public Information Office at pio@census.gov. So with that, we'll go ahead and invite you all to queue up for questions. You can go ahead and use the raise hand icon and we'll give that just a couple of minutes, but I'll turn it over to Tyson.
Great, thanks, Deb. And while we're waiting for any questions to queue up, did want to also mention that when you go to the landing page of data.census.gov, you will see a help button. You can click that button or visit the link in the upper left. We have a whole educational suite of materials for you to make the most of data.census.gov. This includes access to all of our recorded webinars, some of which will go through how to use the site. Today we were focusing on the latest updates to the site. You may also join workshops. That's a 3-hour long opportunity for you to get hands-on practice using data.census.gov in real time with an instructor. We offer these online throughout the month. There's a basics workshop, advanced workshop, and mapping workshop. In addition, on our educational materials page, you'll see how-to materials for using the site, PDFs that give you step-by-step instructions and screenshots, as well as answers to your FAQs. And Deb, checking in, do we have questions queued up yet?
We absolutely do, yes. So our first question comes from Lynette. Oh, I don't know, they may have dropped. So our question is going to come from Jennifer. Can we go ahead and unmute her line, please? Great. And Jennifer, you might have to unmute yourself on your end. Victoria, have you been able to unmute Jennifer's line?
Yeah, I sent her a request to unmute her line.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll give that a moment, Jennifer. Hang in there. We'll come back to you, but can we, oh wait, can you hear us, Jennifer? All right, we'll move. Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Hi.
Yes, I have a question. How do I get a job with this census?
Yeah, thank you for the question. The best way to stay up to date on our job opportunities is to visit usajobs.gov. And we have a variety of postings that you'll see, everything for the Census Bureau's on that site, and we would encourage you to check that out. Thank you for your interest.
Yes, and thank you so much for your question. We can, let's take Bill's question next. Hi, Bill, can you hear us? Bill, you might have to unmute yourself on your end. Okay, let's, Bill, if you'd like, you can submit your question in the question and answer panel. I can read it out loud, or we can try back in a few minutes, but let's try to unmute Ade's line, please.
My name is Ade. My question is, are there any, who is allowed to use the data, and like for what purposes can you use it? Like, are there any legal restrictions to using the data gotten from the application?
Yeah, thank you for your question. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
As far as accessing the data, everything I showed today on our site's publicly available, and that means anyone can access the data and use it for whatever purpose that may suit your needs. The only thing that we would ask is that if you do use our data to source the U.S. Census Bureau as the data source, and maybe as well the particular survey program and maybe even table ID. But it's all publicly available. It's waiting for you to use it, and we are here if you have additional questions on how to access it.
All right, thank you, and thank you for your question. Let's unmute Lynette's line.
Good afternoon. It worked this time. Thank you very much. The question that I have, what is the purpose of skeleton loading? It's the first time I've heard that term. And so what is skeleton loading, and what's the purpose of, like, how would it be beneficial to us as a user since this was part of the update?
Yeah, thank you for your question. So prior to skeleton loading, when you were loading something on data.census.gov, primarily you would have just seen a spinning circle and nothing additional in the background. So the skeleton loading just helps set your expectations a little bit in the few seconds that it takes for the content to actually feed on your screen, that you may have a sense of, in general, the layout of the page, or where things may be placed on a very high level. I mean, I would still say it's in some cases minimally helpful. I do believe in the filter panel it's applied though, and it just kind of lets you know you're expecting maybe like a list to show in that area. It also can, some cases, be a little bit more of a stronger indication since it is coloring all of the areas of the page that are attempting to load. It's a little bit more, even though it is, shaded gray, a little bit more in your face than maybe a simple loading indicator. For instance, the filter panel previously on our site didn't have a spinning icon. There was just a little orange bar that would move across the top of the panel. And in the meantime, you didn't have any other indication that something was loading on your screen. So I would also say, in addition to setting your expectation for what is trying to load, it also is slightly more in your face that something is in fact trying to load.
All right, thank you for your question. Our next question is from Bill.
Hello, I'm on a telephone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Oh, thank you. Finally. I have a question. I've been searching for data on population by age band, by decade, from 1910 to 2020, and data on home prices by decade, by state. I've gotten that data in the past, but it was quite a chore to figure out how to get it. And I'm wondering if the new census interface facilitates queries of that sort, a Boolean search.
Great, thank you for the question. In terms of historical access to information, what we currently have available on data.census.gov is data from the decennial census back to the 2000 census and from the American Community Survey back to 2010. So it gives you a little bit of historical information. What I would encourage you to do in this case is to write us in at census.data@census.gov, and we can connect you with folks from our library at Census or other ways that you may be able to access the data outside of our site with other resources. And then in addition to that...
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Let me understand. You are talking about a different interface than the one I was using a couple of years ago? Hello?
Yeah, I would assume it's different. I'm not totally aware of all of the historical information for past interfaces. There's a variety of ways to access the data, but I can say for certain that we do not have it on our site that we showed today.
And the name of your site is?
Data.census.gov.
Data.census.gov. That's kind of a broad title. I would think the average person would think that data.census.gov meant everything the Census Bureau has. But what I'm hearing is that's not true. Is that correct?
That is correct. So we have the data back to the 2000. We do consider suggestions for ways to improve the site. So we will certainly write down your comment, and we've heard requests for other users that want historical information. But for now, we would encourage you to write us in, and we can work with the correct avenues to get you the information you're looking for elsewhere.
Did you say write us in?
Email us at census.data@census.gov.
Well, say that again, please.
It's census.data at census.gov.
Okay, fine, I'll do that. I called the Census Bureau in Maryland while your presentation was going on, and they told me their systems were broken and they couldn't answer the phone. And by the way, I worked for the Federal Communications Commission for 10 years later in life. And it was kind of interesting to see how government operated. Well, I've called the Census Bureau several times over the past few years, One woman I spoke to told me that she agreed with my view that it was getting harder and harder to get data from the government. Do you agree with that or not? Well, you can't agree with
We
it.
are here
It's a
to help
rhetorical
you.
question.
Yeah,
Go
we're
ahead.
definitely here to help you in any way we can.
Yeah.
So what I can share is the information to get in contact with us. And we're really
Right.
happy and are looking forward to your message.
Okay. I'll do
Appreciate it.
that. And if you could get some feedback. Well, never mind. Thanks a lot, and I wish you good luck. Bye.
Great, thank you. Deb, other questions?
We do not have any other questions in the queue right now.
Great. Well, if before we wrap up, and in case any last minute questions come through, I did want to share an additional bit of information for you and resource. In the spirit of getting help accessing for data, we also have data dissemination specialists. So in addition to the email address I've already shared with you, which will go to the team for myself, Deb, and other colleagues in this webinar, we also have data dissemination specialists. This is a local data person assigned to your area, so you're welcome to reach out to them for an additional contact. Their information is census.askdata@census.gov or 1-844-ASK-DATA. We would both be happy to assist you. Our area of expertise is data.census.gov. Their area is general census data, not necessarily related to any one particular site, survey, or topic. Any other questions, Deb?
We do, I'm so sorry. We missed a question that came up. But it seems like we've answered all the questions. But yeah, like I said earlier, if there are any questions remaining after we've concluded today, please feel free to reach out to one of the 2 email inboxes that are listed here. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you all again for tuning into the webinar, and we hope to see you at a future event.
This concludes today's webinar. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at this time.